like to call the meeting to order. We'd like to welcome everyone for coming this evening. We'll ask Miss Gail to do a roll call vote, please. Roll call.
Lyndon Baines.
Here.
Becky Duncan.
Here.
Charles Cooper.
Here.
Vanessa Matthews.
Here.
And Elizabeth Pendergrass.
Here. At this time, we would like Miss Gail to read the minutes.
Be it remembered that the Board of Mayor and Aldermen met in regular monthly session Monday, December the 11th, 2017 at 6 p.m. at the City Hall in Jamestown, when the following proceedings were had and entered to of record to wit. Present and presiding, the Darlene Mundy Davis, Mayor, Gail Dishman, Recorder, and on a roll call by the City Recorder, the following members of the Board were present: Lyndon, Becky Duncan, Charles Cooper, Vanessa Matthews, Elizabeth Pendergrass. The Mayor called the meeting to order and welcomed everyone for attending. The minutes from the previous meeting was read, and on a motion by Elizabeth Pendergrass, second by Charles Cooper, the Board approved the minutes from the November meeting. The Mayor then asked, was there anyone from the floor that had any grievances, and there was none. Mayor Davis then gave an update on city projects and how well the Trail and Tree event turned out. Steve McCoy also added to how well the city staff did working the event. Tom Bennett with Bennett Associates gave engineer report. Bob Lane with the city building inspector was absent. Bailey Allred, city attorney, then gave the attorney report. On a motion by Charles Cooper, second by Becky Duncan, the Board on a roll call vote, all for, none against, approving the airport rail light project to be set for bid advertisement. On a motion by Charles Cooper, second by Lyndon Baines, the Board on a roll call vote, all for, none against, approving the community center bathroom ADA project to be set for bid advertisement. On a motion by Charles Cooper, seconded by Becky Duncan, the Board on a roll call vote, all for, none against, approved the financial statements for November 2017. On a motion by Lyndon Baines, seconded by Elizabeth Pendergrass, the Board on a roll call vote, all for, none against, approved the November bills paid. Before adjourning, Alderman Charles Cooper asked about the Fentress County Utility District wanting to sell water to Chanute Water District in the Pound Mile and Pickett area. Mayor Davis replied saying that some of the aldermen, city staff, Tom Bennett had went to a Fentress County Utility District meeting and discussed the project, and that Tom Bennett, city engineer, had sent a letter on behalf of the city requesting some additional information. Tom Bennett stated that the letter was asking the number of customers, the normal usage, and the other factors to figure the impact that adding the line would have. He stated he thought the impact would not be much and that the city's water plant could handle it. With no further business, on a motion by Charles Cooper, seconded by Lyndon Baines, the Board voted to adjourn.
Okay, at this time, is there any corrections on the minutes that need to be made noted? Okay, if not, then I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, a motion by Vanessa Matthews, second by Charles Cooper. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Lyndon Baines.
4.
Becky Duncan.
4.
Charles Cooper.
4.
Vanessa Matthews.
4.
All for, none against.
Okay, motion carries. The next item is any grievances from the citizens. At this time, there is none, so we'll move down to the reports. And the first one is going to be the report from the mayor, and I would like to ask Steve to give an update, please.
Well, the last few weeks has been pretty rough on the city, on the water lines and the snow on the streets. And just want to say that the city employees have done an excellent job on everything, and that's about it for right now.
Okay, at this time, any questions for Steve?
No, I would like to commend the city employees. They've done a fantastic job. On those very cold days, they were out there working, and I appreciate it. The city appreciates it.
They done a good job.
And they have.
I've seen them out on the shoveling the sidewalks in front of a lot of businesses, and there's not a lot of towns that do that, and I do commend the city for doing that. The city employees went out there and doing that for them.
Okay, at this time, we would hear from Tom Bennett for the engineering report.
Just a couple things from my side tonight. The grinder project at the influent pump station, that is sort of underway. The submittals have been approved and they're moving into fabrication. That equipment will be delivered in late March, so there'll be a little bit of lull here until that happens, and that'll take about a week to get that done once that starts. So that'll be good. And then the other project we're working on right now is the CDBG sewer project, and so we're still just working through the details on that. The environmental permits and such will be submitted here momentarily, and I would anticipate probably late spring release for construction. That may be a little optimistic at this point, but certainly no later than summer on that. That's what I had.
Okay, thank you. Next is the city building inspector report.
I got 2 or 3 things. David Starnes now, the city planner, have been working on ordinance that'll be coming in front of you before long, dealing with cell towers. We're getting a lot of, we got one under construction and some more phone calls, and we're going to try to regulate cell towers in Jamestown as far as residential areas and places that they might impact a homeowner, pull property values down, and maybe be unsightly or whatever. So we have no regulations currently at all dealing with them. So we'll be, hopefully have that in front of you, hopefully next month. We've got the ordinance drafted, we just got to get it approved through the planning commission. We're going to try to do that tomorrow night. We got a pretty major remodel going on in McDonald's. I don't think you've been there today, but the lobby's closed. They're tearing all that thing out inside. And then the Fentress County, those apartments over on 8, those are coming right along with rehab. I've been coming up here a lot and inspecting them 8 and 9 at a time, so they're getting pretty close to finishing them. Maybe 2 more buildings and they'll have them done. That's all I have.
Any questions for Bob tonight? Okay. The next we'll hear from the city attorney.
Okay, so for this month, I actually spent some quality time in Nashville, attending and reviewing some laws that, with the Tennessee Bar Association, the classes that they provide on municipalities, and spent some time learning specifically on some legislative updates, public records, online communication and representations, those kind of things. So have some notes for us on some things that we need to be looking toward in the future, and I'll be in discussion with the mayor about that as we'll be bringing that to you in the future. And then I have a list of contracts that I will be working on for the coming month. So I'll have updates for you on those next month.
Thank you. Next will be our old business, and the first item is approval of low bid for the airport rail lighting project. In the packet you have like the bid that they gave to us and the recommendation of the award revised. And Ms. Gale's going to read that off for us right quick.
Neil Schaefer's recommendation for the city is Guardian Electric Corporation with the Buy America waiver as detailed in section 0080 of the contract documents in TDOT's concurrence of the award. Let me see what he did with that.
Okay, you ready to?
We need a motion to accept the low bid on that.
Yeah,
I'll make a
I'm
motion to accept the low bid on it.
Okay, we got a motion by Charles Cooper to accept the low bid on the Neil Schaefer,
I'll second it.
second by Lyndon Baines. Any discussion?
Gil, where is the
That's what I'm looking for, my second sheet. It was 60,000, but let's see what the.
Steve, please. Steve. Who's seen them? Who's seen the bids? Bids?
Somewhere. I think it's in the truck. I know there's 30,000 different dollars between them.
Really?
I do apologize that Mr. Schaefer took, when Neil Schaefer's was here, they took all that with them, and he didn't send me the second sheet, but the total grant is $60,000. And theirs was it was 35,000.
30,000 between them, wasn't it?
Yes.
Whatever, 3 bids?
Yes, there was 3 bids submitted, and he's not sent that second sheet to it, and I do apologize. I didn't. But I do know that Guardian Electric did come in, and at I want to say 30, it rounded it off to 35,000. And the total grant was for 60 for the real lights. And I will email him in the morning and get you the correct total and round it off to the 35,000 tonight, but I'll get you guys the correct total in the morning.
Well, we got a motion and a second on the floor, so I guess
So do we need
You
to
vote
wait
on it.
or, okay.
Any further discussion?
Any further discussion on the lighting? We'll do a roll call vote.
Lyndon Baines,
4.
Charles Cooper,
Or,
Becky Duncan,
4.
Vanessa Matthews.
4.
All 4, none against.
Motion carries. Okay,
Who made the motion?
first was Charles Cooper.
Okay.
And then you
Yes, Carl
seconded
did,
it.
yeah.
And then
Okay.
you seconded it.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we up to speed?
Mhm.
Good deal. Okay, next is our new business. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the actual budget amendment. So there's a correction on that. Ms. Gail, you want to talk about that?
It's the closeout for the 2016-17 budget. It's budget amendments for approval by the board so we can finish our audit.
Okay, do I hear a motion to
I make a
approve?
motion to approve it.
Okay, I've got a first by Charles Cooper. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Vanessa Matthews seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Lyndon Baines,
4.
Charles Cooper,
Or,
Becky Duncan,
4.
Vanessa Matthews.
4.
All 4, none against.
Motion carries. The next is the financial statements for December 2017. Okay, so the ending balance for the general fund is $351,605.17. The water and sewer is $1,086,873.22. And the natural gas fund is $1,211,733.16. The total comes to $2,650,211.55. Do I have an approval to,
Make a
for the
motion to
financial
approve it.
statements for December?
Charles.
Charles, first.
I'll second it.
Becky, was that you? Becky, seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Lyndon Baines,
4.
Charles Cooper,
or,
Becky Duncan,
4.
Vanessa Matthews.
4.
All 4, none against.
Okay, next is the approval of the bills for December 2017.
I make a motion, we pay the bills.
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion by Lyndon Baines, second by Charles Cooper. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Lyndon Baines,
4.
Charles Cooper,
Or,
Becky Duncan,
4.
Vanessa Matthews.
4.
All 4, none against.
Okay, motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the Chanute and Pall Mall Water District. And
Kim ain't here yet.
Kim ain't here yet, so we do want to let John talk. So at this time, we're going to ask John to come up and address us at this time.
I really need that.
Well, it says we do. Let me hold it.
It don't matter. I'm John Davidson with Chinook Pall Mall Water Utility. To give you a little background of why we're here, back in 2016, we have, well, let me back up. We purchased our water from Pickett County. In 2016, we had a letter, a director's order from the state of Tennessee, stating that the last 5 consecutive years prior to 2016, we had been over our Safe Drinking Act whatever that is. So we had a letter that stated what we were to do. We either purchase water from somebody else, have a corrective action plan with Birdtown, and Birdtown didn't have a corrective action plan. We did find out through the state of Tennessee when we had getting these fines, when our water was like 0.08, the normal was like 0.05. It has to be that level or below for the Safe Water Act. While we were purchasing the water from Birdtown, it was above the level when we got it from Birdtown. So when we put it in our tank, we had nothing to treat with. All we were doing was pulling whatever, the trihalomethanes. It was out of level, and we were putting it in our system. We are here tonight to ask the request, beg, that you all think about letting Jamestown sell us water, or maybe you all selling us water. It's not a situation of we're just wanting cheaper water, but it's actual a health issue. I've got some copies. Well, I've got the actual director's order where we had to pay the fine, and I've got some paperwork that shows the levels that we were. And I know you may have some more information that they need to look at, maybe.
I've gave it to them. You're talking about the
Yeah.
usage? Yes. Do you want me to make a copy of it?
No, well, there's a director's plan. Here's our disinfectant byproducts and our trihalomethanes. We're like at 0.07. There's several different papers of that. This is the director's order.
So are you paid fines on this?
Yeah.
Because your cap was May of 2017, right?
Right, that's when these letters come in, but this all stemmed from 2016, and we had like a year to get all this done, but we've been waiting on Jamestown to get us there, to get us a quote, and they finally did in December of 2016, but we found out that it wasn't approved through UNS, or through you all. So that's what I'm doing here tonight, is, to get permission to buy from them or buy from you. There's a copy of the request I sent in to waiver the $1,000 penalty because we were waiting on Jamestown. One of our corrective action plans says must have voted to whether to continue purchase water from Birdstown or make the change to purchase water from Fentress County Utility District. We're supposed to have something signed, but there again we didn't. You can pass that around, and then there's another where our level was out, and there it was 0.084. I don't know if you need to see the bid or not. There's the water quality statistics. It calls for the third quarter, fourth quarter, basically the last 2 quarters of every year. You can see the levels out. And we do have 470 actual meters. We've got 546, but we have 470 live meters. I know that was a question.
Is that how many that was on our thing? Oh, you're.
And actually,
So how many meters you got total?
we've got 546 in the ground, but we've got 470 that are actually being used. We do have money set aside. We were supposed to have had our packet turned in, and through rural development for money that's set aside, we are actually able to get an 85% grant because it's a health issue for this line to be put in and purchase water. But I don't know if we're going to meet the deadline for that or not. And I know in your all's contract, that was one of the things that was discussed with Jamestown, that they weren't allowed or weren't supposed to sell outside of Fentress County. But if we purchase from Fentress County, the water meter where we will get water will be at Buck Mountain, which is in Fentress County. It'll go through a line which is all in Fentress County to our tank, which sits in Fentress County, and then from there, it'll be all ours to sell to Pickett County, which 90% of our customers are Fentress County based.
How many customers you got in Pickett County, John?
That's a good question. That's one answer I can't, I don't know exactly how many we have. We have the Red Hill Road to the Red Hill Church, Buck Mountain, and we've got a few on Chanute Road and I guess Cobra Mountain. We've got about 10 people over there.
Okay.
Have I missed anything?
Well, I would,
Come on.
well, I would add over the last month or so, everybody was having the water problems.
Yes.
And Birdstown, the lake got muddy, they said, and they had a lot of supply problems. And we actually got down to 2.5 feet in our tank, which is critically low. We desperately need a reliable source of clean water in Pall Mall, and that's the main reason we're asking.
Yeah. It takes Pickett County, I went to their facility, it takes them 8 hours, 3 8-hour days to produce the 3 million gallon that we use a month. And talking with Chris Ramsey, 3 or 4 hours is about what it would take for him to meet the demand that we've got.
What do you got a daily average, what is it? Do you know?
Well, it's roughly 3 million, so it's somewhere 100,000 gallon a day.
Yeah, we got that.
This is essentially, if we get from Jamestown or from you, we have to pump our water from Pickett County to the tank, and then from there we have to pump to customers over on Shell Lot, and then we have to pump to customers on Cobra Mountain. But here we would do away with those 3 pump houses, which would cut down on our electricity or maintenance on those pumps, because we would be working off the pressure of your tanks.
Yeah,
Well,
Fentress County.
pressure of Fentress County, yeah. Which in turn means we're going to have a little cheaper water, which will allow us to not be in the negative as much. Fighting, everything, because we're right now a few dollars more than Jamestown's average water bill. And that's just what we purchased from Birdstown is like $5.87 is what we actually have per thousand. And then on top of that, we have a $2 water meter fee that goes to the Corps of Engineers. And that was an agreement that Byrdstown entered in to guarantee they would hold back so many thousand gallon in the lake. So that's $800 and something fee every month on top of what we pay for the water.
We need a motion on that, Gail, for that
Do we, wait just a minute, do we want Tom to talk a few minutes also? I think, yeah.
Yeah, Ian Castle, Tom.
Sorry, Tom, I can't see.
I'm sorry.
No, you're
I
fine.
was looking for you.
Sorry.
Well, let's see. First of all, what you have in your packet for me is needing a little bit of updating, and that's okay. 470 customers, that's more than what we had anticipated. We've not been, this first we've heard that, that's not your fault. But anyway, so that changes a little bit on our side, but at the end of the day, their consumptions that you see tabulated in our correspondence, they are what they are. So they're, if you average out, bear with me, let's see, we looked at 3 years of their data, and they average about 90, just short of 90,000 gallons per day. Their peak during that time was about 125,000. I would recommend that if you were allocating numbers to them from a design standpoint, I'd recommend 140,000 gallons set aside for them using just industry standards. And so that would be, that's obviously more than what they're using, but their peak day is about 125,000 is what we're seeing over that time. And so to go back through just a moment of our discussion in the workshop, just to clarify. So the request is being made of this body, as I understand it, from the utility district. Now, it's not been discussed from our standpoint about the possibility of a direct connection with Jamestown. I've never looked at that. Geographically, as I understand it, that would require an extension from the community center to them, which would be a pretty good piece. I don't know how far that'd be, but so anyway, that's not, I've not looked at that. The discussion that we've had and that I've looked at has been based upon Fentress County Utility District selling to them, and then of course Fentress buys from us at what's called the North Meter at the Community Center. And as I understand it, that Fentress County has a pump station, the Fentress County Utility District, bear with me, at the community center that pumps to what I believe they call their Pine Haven tank, and then they would be fed off of that tank. So from our standpoint, from a hydraulic perspective, as long as there's nothing done to the pump station, which that request has not been made to me or to this body to my knowledge, then it would, hydraulically there would be little to no change from our standpoint. So then it comes down to we have capacity to serve them in our treatment and distribution system. We do about 1.70 million gallons per day average at the treatment facilities, and we can functionally produce about 2.6 million gallons per day. So on average, there's some room there and some flexibility. We do, however, from time to time produce 2.6 and need 2.6. That is, not to get too technical, that's statistically less than 1% of the time over what we looked at and have been looking at in a long-term study over about 10 years. So we looked at about 3,600 days. And so periodically, Jamestown consumes what they produce. Their peak day is about what their plant can produce. And so that needs to be said out loud. There are times when there could be, some concerns with this, but that's very rare. It's a very rare occurrence. Under normal operating conditions, average day, the plant has capacity to produce sufficient volume to, as far as I'm concerned, to handle these additional customers. The distribution of those waters through the utility district and then into the Chinook-Powmau Utility District from a water quality standpoint, there's things that we wouldn't know as it might relate to disinfection byproducts, but as a general rule, Jamestown has no issues within their system that I'm aware of. There's no known violations.
Right.
Otherwise.
Byrdstown, for the average of the year, is like 1.46.
I understand, yeah.
Jamestown's at the Double Top or Buck Mountain.
Right.
always is somewhere around 1.02. So we're looking at half. I mean, you know, it's
Right, I understand.
twice as good or, you know, than what the normal
Right.
we've
As
been
it-
getting.
I understand. And
Yeah.
so, from our standpoint, all I'm trying to say is that what we're really talking about here would be the providing the additional water at the north meter that would functionally then be transmitted through the utility district to the Chinook Powell Mountain Utility District. And so, there's certain provisions within, you have an agreement with the utility district that's been in place, I don't know, I've looked, 65, I think, and it's been amended a few times. You would need to make some modifications and/or amendments to that agreement to deal with outside county, I believe is one of them. But we need to let city attorney come up with whatever those amendments may be to that agreement. And then that would need to be presented to the utility district. And so that would be how you would, in my opinion, and Freddie chime in, that's how you would go about accomplishing this.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that, I mean, I would like to supply for the city to supply, we can do that. So if I could make a motion to provide the water to the community contingent on the appropriate contract amendments prepared by our attorney and signed by both parties.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Vanessa Matthews to supply to the contingent according to the agreements by both parties.
I'll take that motion.
Have Charles on a second on that. Any discussion? Okay, do a roll call vote, please.
Lyndon Baines.
4.
Charles Cooper.
4.
Becky Duncan.
4.
Vanessa Matthews. 4. All 4, none against.
Okay, motion carries. Is that it? Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If there's nothing further, then at this time, I need a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
First by Lyndon,
I'll take it.
Charles seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
None opposed?
Just a written summary of what.
Motion carries.
Okay.